Let's pray. Father, we thank you for another day that you've given to us, a day in which you shower us with blessings that we can see, and then many that we're not aware of, but we know that you're always working. We pray that you'll be with this council and the mayor as they make decisions for the good of our city. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, please.
Oh, that's that one. I got purple stuff. Big news on DDD tomorrow. We all got down, blew up. All right, in your package, you have the minutes from the March 7th meeting. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, committee and department reports. Chamber. Anybody here from the chamber?
Here.
Not here? All right. Finance.
I don't have much. We had a brief finance meeting about an hour ago, and we're starting to work on the New Year's budget. We're working with all the department heads to fine-tune that.
Okay.
We'll keep you updated as we get closer.
You want to have another finance meeting?
Yes, before the next council meeting.
Council meeting to,
Correct.
for the department heads to update your budgets.
Yes, and not on council night. We need more time.
Yeah, time.
We need more than an hour, so we'll coordinate and let you know what when that day will be.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Fire.
Mayor, City Council, a few items here tonight. Need some clarification on the sale of engine 2 and engine 79. Do we need to take bids on that, or do we have to?
There's no requirement that you do.
It'd be good to have a couple of bids at least.
It's the best business
Yeah.
practice to do it.
Okay. With approval of you guys, we'll go ahead and open those up for bids. Be pending, the sale will be pending the arrival of our replacement truck. I do not have a date on that as of yet. We're just waiting on those people, new trucks coming in. Should be sometime in April, hopefully. So if that's okay, we'll go ahead and start stepping bids on that.
Okay.
I'd ask for approval for purchase for new equipment for the new fire station, including a hose rack, gear lockers, workbench, washer extractor, for fire gear, hose washer, and a gear and hose dryer. That's totaling $31,413.63, and that will be coming from the fire station reserve.
Yeah, that's got 194,000 in there. That's what I was looking for.
Scott, is that a motion?
Yeah.
We have a motion?
Second.
We have a second? All in favor?
Right.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
We were awarded fire grant from the state of Missouri, if y'all will remember. We put in for it and the EMS grant. We were awarded fire grant for $15,195. That does have a stipulation that it can only be used for fire-related items. We did not have that check in yet. It should be coming in hopefully in the next few weeks. I've already spoken with Miss Brenda about that. I've also talked to the state. What I was kind of hoping we could kind of set that back somewhere, since it can only be used for fire-related items.
Can you put it in your fire reserve since you're taking 31 out and put that 15 in there?
Possibly, or what I was thinking, on the communications vehicle, that Suburban that may be repurposed, we could use some of that money to
Well,
get
we
that
can still
back.
put it in reserve and then
Sure.
make a request for
that
the
to be earmarked. And then the last thing that I have is the approval to spend $5,002.50. This will be coming out of our EMS line item budget. It's to purchase a narcotics box for a rescue truck for our paramedics. This is a mandated thing through the DEA that will be mandated here in the next few months. So I need approval.
Motion on that.
Second. Motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed?
And then in your packets there, you should have a list of your finance expense for the fire department, and also you'll see the property maintenance report, and I will be giving you all that property maintenance report monthly from now. If there's no questions, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Human resources.
We don't have anything right now, but I want to warn the committee to be prepared to have a meeting because we will have a few things to go through in the future.
All right. Seeing that here. Where's, okay.
See what
She must got to call us on.
On Main,
Yeah.
she had to leave for the call. She stated that Jimmy French and the, car club, car show had donated a pallet of food that they very much needed
Okay.
recently. So thank you to the people from car show.
All right. Anything else? Oh, okay. All right.
Mayor, council, I want to start off reading the crime stats for the month of February. Calls for service through the police department, 1,344 calls, that's down quite a bit from the month before. A little bit slower, colder weather, it's kind of expected. 225 traffic stops were conducted, 22 accidents we were, 9 burglaries, 39 disturbances, 49 domestic violence calls, 6 shoplifting, 21 stealings, and then 884 calls for citizen assist. That's through our 911 center and calls for police department service. Also, I discussed this with our police committee several months ago. We started the SRT team, basically a special response team. We also have a street crimes unit that works off of that. Their first operation, one thing I stress to the guys that are involved in this program is I want to see results. If we're going to finance this, we're going to use money, and I want to see results. Their first, I guess, investigation, you want to call it, yielded 19.6 grams of methamphetamine and seized over $12,600 in cash. State's attorney's office is probably working on a seizure for cash. I don't think we'll probably get it. We might, but we'll see what we can do. But for that program, and it's just getting started, I thought that was a pretty good start for that group. I'm very proud of the work they've done. It took a lot of man hours, a lot of dedication, but they came through and they've done a good job. Hopefully we can keep funding this program and keep it going. Also, our taser batteries are starting to get low. All the officers, their battery life is starting to run out on them. They're not rechargeable. We just have to buy new batteries. So I've got a prize for each officer to get a new battery for their taser. It's going to come up to just under $2,600. This was not a budget item, but we can take this out of our weapons and ammo line item. We've not spent a lot of money out of that, and we can fund this easily through that, off that line item in the budget.
Not that far off from being a weapon.
I'm sorry.
You said weapons and ammo, that's not that far off from being a weapon.
Right.
Oh, it definitely is, yeah. But again, we wasn't planning on having to replace those this year, but getting toward the end of the budget here, I don't think we can wait till the end. We probably need to go ahead and replace those now, just for officer safety.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
I think that's all I have for this.
Then are you needing closed session for real estate? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Street choir.
Mayor, council members. I think that most of you know that we had an employee retired. Today was his last day. Keith Tucker worked out in the rain for us all day today, trying to get a pipeline finished before he got out of there. He almost got it too. He retired. Today was his last day with 35 years and 10 months and a few days. We didn't get all that in there, but that's a long time. We appreciate the work that he put in over the last 35 years. We got our 910 loader in, and so far it's been working good for us. I think it's going to work out well. It's pretty much a same size as the one we got and everything. It's a little more horsepower and everything, but size-wise it's the same, so it'll work out on the street for us very good. We ended ended up having to pay $173,750 for it, but it came with a set of forks. So we've got a bucket and forks, it's got a quick detached bucket on it, which will be something we'll use quite a bit. We've needed those quite a bit in the past. We did get our backhoe up and running again. I think I told y'all last meeting it was down. We got it up and running, but the front bucket's still iffy. It will lift, but not properly. Fortunately, now that we've got the loader, we won't need it a whole lot for the front bucket, so we use it mainly for the digging part. But it is running again, just not the way it should. We have got our concrete and asphalt packets up at City Hall, and some of them have been picked up, and some of the contractors have got back with me on those, and we've talked about them. You can pick up the packets at City Hall during working hours. The last day to turn them in will be 9 a.m. March 31st, 2023 at City Hall. And they'll be open, and then we'll have a meeting at the street department to look them over and discuss them, and then we'll do something after that with them. That's all we've got for the street department, unless y'all have any questions for me. Well, one more thing. Mentioned in the loader, we do have the old 916 loader. As Terry has stated, we don't have to put it up for bid. We are going to put it out for bid and see what we can get for it, but if we don't get an acceptable bid, we have had a salvage yard offer us $3,000 or $4,000 for salvage. I'm gonna talk to CAT first and see what they think the price of it is, but they'd already told us once it wasn't worth about $5,000 when it's running, so we're not expecting a whole lot out of it. That's all we've got for the street department, unless y'all have any questions.
Storm?
We need to have a brief, and I mean brief meeting afterwards. Anybody's welcome to it, but I don't think we want to bore the rest of the council with it because we've got some issues with it. But in short, the big thing for the stormwater is that we've got our report back from the engineers, and they have suggested 3 different methods of taking care of the drainage out there.
Well, right now they've got one
that's really valid.
that they say we probably need to look at doing, because it's the only one that they see feasible, really. Anything else is really looking at putting it on other people. This is the only thing that keeps it off putting it on the citizens. This will put it back out on the state highway.
Well, this is they're wanting to, the only way they see possible is to dig a ditch along the side of the road. Otherwise, they're gonna continue to flood, and if the streets continue to flood, we're not gonna wanna pave them because they're just gonna tear down rapidly. So there's no sense in that. So we're making this public tonight because we want anybody that has a complaint to, or has a comment. We don't need complaints necessarily, but they can call the street department, or City Hall can transfer it on down to the street department. And if we need to have a meeting with the residents, then we will do that. But right now, that's the only viable method. If they want paved roads, this has to happen first.
Pretty much they'll have ditches on both sides of the road through the whole neighborhood. They said the ground out there is flat. There's basically nowhere to put it. They say dig ditches on both sides of the road all the way out to the state highway, and as long as it rains, it's gonna flow and it's gonna drain good, but when it quits raining, they're probably gonna be watering the ditches for a while, till it soaks in.
And
There's just nowhere to, there's not enough grade to get it to run off. When it quits raining, it's gonna sit.
There's gonna be some cost to the owners of the property if they wanna be able to get across their driveway and things like that, more than likely,
That's
so.
something we'll have to discuss, because there will have to be pipes put under all the driveways and roads under there. I don't know how the city wants to go about that. We'll have to have a meeting on that.
Well, we're gonna hear what the comments are from the community. And
Yeah,
we'll go from there.
Yeah, and the number at, street department is, 573-888-2609. They call City Hall or street department if they wanna
Have a powwow.
talk to us about it. Yeah, we're gonna have to have another meeting on it eventually, but right now we just need to get it out there, and that's about the only way to fix it, for the ditches.
Is this something you need to have a town hall meeting for all the residents out there that's being affected?
That's what we're gonna try to get input from, but I believe that's what it's gonna come down to, is the town hall stuff.
get on this fairly quick because, I don't know what time frame it'll take to do the project, but we're gonna have to get engineers to look at it and get bids on it. And actually, the engineer firm does have a bid sheet and everything already printed up for us, ready to go on when we decide what we want to do.
It's gonna be a pretty big project.
It's gonna be a big project. If you're talking about digging ditches through that whole neighborhood on both sides of the road, out to the highway, state highway, it's gonna be a pretty good project. Especially if you're gonna have to put pipes in the driveways and all that stuff. So the quicker we get it done, or figured out, the quicker we get started on it. Because it'll have to be bid out and then they'll have to have time to work on it for next, season. Well, this time next year, we'll be looking at asphalt, so we'll be looking at, it'll need to be done by then.
So, just, members of that community need to let us know. what they're done. Go ahead, continue.
The, next thing on here is the pipeline, our WPA line. We finally got it lined from Vanavender and Lee Street to Harrison and Oak. Under all the structures and everything that's over there, and everything looked real good. There was a couple of issues with the pipe where they had to actually crawl up in there and do some work. The liner's doesn't look real pretty in that area, but it'll work. It's kind of up on the side a little bit. One of the problems they got into was the box not the same size. Some places was 24 inches, some was 22, and the liner had to be a certain width to fit in there, so it didn't work out 100%, but it's gonna work. Luckily, everything was up on the side. We've got a little bit of cleanup work to do for the street department, and that project will be done. They are, as I mentioned earlier, working on Providence and Jackson, doing some water drainage project out there. That's what Keith Tucker was working on today. We've maybe got a couple more days out there, and then we'll have that pipe run out the other side of the park, and hopefully drainage will be taken care of out there. And we'll be ready to blacktop that this year, or asphalt it this year. That's all we've got. Some water, unless y'all have any questions.
Where's Victor at? Victor, did you have anything you need to add?
No.
You good?
Probably after we have a meeting, we'll have a little bit more for each one of them next time, but we need to have a meeting with stormwater.
Yeah, so immediately afterwards, don't go anywhere, stay.
Be a short one.
Thank you.
That's all we've got. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Industrial, Jake's not here right now. I think I've got everything with senior citizens.
Nothing to report at this time.
Mayor, if I could, on the industrial, and I'm not sure what happened or not, did you ever get up, Jake, on them? So I tried to call Councilman McKeon, with the compress building. There was a piece of metal blown off the side of that building out there. That building, as you know, is not insured. We have secured it best of our ability. We need to hire someone to go out and fix that. It's on the east side, or west side of the building. So, just want to bring that up while we were in the industrial.
So we also need to hire.
The compress building, for the police, fire, and everybody's stores.
They have the stores.
We need to figure out how we want to get that area cleaned up, because we've got, people wanting to take photos for, advertising our area from the county-wide, and, it's pretty crummy looking right now, so we need to figure out how we wanna go about getting that area. Branches down, what else? Randy, what else did we see?
Just the overall appearance. I don't think what we want to put out professional advertising to try to get people to look at the property. Just general appearance is terrible.
So we're gonna have to figure out what we wanna do about that. Use beautification,
We don't have anything.
All right, hospital?
Last I talked to that company, they had contacted the county and had some of the information about the land that we're looking at for that, and should be getting a copy of their plan shortly here. I'm hoping sometime this week, and we'll go from there. We'll be having, as soon as we get that, we'll be having a hospital committee meeting. Lisa, did you have anything?
Yeah, if you want me to talk about our project. After the last hospital meeting, Bill called and asked if, he was working on a strategy to put some pressure on the state to revoke the existing con, because that's kind of a barrier, as we know. So he suggested maybe we could get a St. Louis newspaper interested in doing some kind of report on the problems we've had with these groups, especially in light of the latest financial situation where they've been indicted in New York for some not delivering on their promises. So I suggested, why don't we talk to the reporter from the New York Times who wrote about our hospital in December 2018. You may recall the article that was the baby's coming in the hospital is 100 miles away. So I reached out to him and provided him with a pitch letter, some recent newspaper articles and a timeline of events, and he called me and he was very interested in writing about this. He asked for some additional information. So working with Bill and Jan and the health department, I got that all put together and sent it off to him. Then he gave me another assignment and I worked on that. So the bottom line is he's interested in writing about it. He said the last story, what made it so compelling was it was a personal experience of an individual. He asked, would we have people in the community who could maybe give a testimony about a family member or someone close to them they had lost because they felt that we did not have a hospital here, and those stories exist. If we could provide those to him. And right now he's based in Arizona, but he's a national reporter. He's working on a story down at the border. He told me once he gets that wrapped up, he'll be back in touch and we'll see what happens from there.
Thank you.
All right. Unfinished business, approval.
I can bring up the trash and the committees.
Okay.
Had a complaint in our ward about the trash trucks running across people's yards and tearing up flower beds and stuff. I'd like to refer that to the trash committee.
That'd be great. And I didn't have one thing. The committee, we spoke about this, not the last time, but the first meeting. The ordinance 3075, and I think that's something that needs to be repealed because it's,
I understand that.
so who do we need to give it to?
Just have something, anybody on the council present an ordinance, I mean, somebody prepare an ordinance. That's all it takes.
I'll make a motion to repeal the ordinance.
Well, I'll need to prepare an ordinance, I will prepare an ordinance.
Okay, you don't need a motion yet to do that?
No.
Okay. You prepare an ordinance for
I can do that.
this is the ordinance 3075 that we passed in November of 22 to have single source pickup in Kennett. To repeal that.
I didn't catch any of that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Which ordinance is it?
That's all that is.
All right. Unfinished business, approval of the ordinance for maintenance of fire hydrants.
You all should have this. An ordinance establishing the duty of the Kennett Board of Public Works to take charge of and maintain all water hydrants and fire plugs in the city. This was done in response to some confusion that was raised several meetings ago about who had responsibility for the fire hydrants. Just to clear that up.
Motion.
Got a motion? We got a second? All in favor?
Second reading, an ordinance establishing the duty of the Kennett Board of Public Works to take charge of and maintain all water hydrants and fire plugs in the city.
Motion. Second?
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. All right. New business. The approve ordinance for new fire codes and property maintenance codes.
packet, you have it all, you have the ordinance in the packet. It's an ordinance adopting certain international codes as the building and construction codes for the city of Kennett. It also includes mechanical code, plumbing code, fire gas code, existing building code, and property maintenance code. This is basically the same codes that we passed back, we adopted the 2012 codes in 2013. And this is basically adopting the more updated versions of those.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Second reading, an ordinance adopting certain international codes, the building and construction codes for the city of Kennett.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Roll call?
Yes.
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 Okay. Motion carried. Approval of ordinance for city clerk job description.
An ordinance amending job description for the city clerk for the city of Kennett. 10 years ago, as part of the job description of the city clerk, in the personnel manual, it was changed to have the city clerk under the direction of the city council and the mayor. This deletes that portion of it and inserts in its stead work performed independently under the direction of the city council. Basically makes the city clerk basically the boss of a city department, which the city clerk is. And the city clerk is technically the city clerk of the city council, so it should be under the direction of the city council.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Second reading, an ordinance amending job description for city clerk of the city of Kennett.
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Approval of city abstract.
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Approval of statement of revenue and expenditures.
We need to table that. I just got it last night. I personally didn't have time to review it, so I'd say we table it.
All right. Approval of city bank balances.
Same here.
Table it. Okay. Approval of rezoning parcel 412 from R1 to B2.
Which parcel was that?
That's in the packet too.
It's down around that trailer court, just south of Providence Road, along the railroad right away.
Well, this means you've already went through the planning and zoning.
Yes,
Is that the recommendation?
That's fine
Yes.
with me.
Yes, it has, it's done from then. So, first reading, an ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 single-family residential to B2 general business, a part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 10 and part of southwest quarter of the northwest quarter of section 11, Holland Township 18 North, range 9 East in the city of Kennett, Duncan County, Missouri.
Okay. Any motion?
Motion.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second reading, an ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 single-family residential to B2 general business, a part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 10, and part of the